The following is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.
Over 2.5 millennia ago, the first racing commentator, Zeno of Ilia, while describing a contest between a tortoise and Achilles, noted the finish line could never be reached because there was an infinite number of halfway points the racers would need to pass between their current lap and the checkered flag. Today, from the misty darkness cut by the river Styx, old Zeno must be saying, "See, I told you so," because the advanced Mazda Cup reaches the first of those infinite halfway milestones as Circuit Gilles Villenueve plays host for round 6 of 12 on its debut season schedule. And all 25 minutes of MX5 simulated action, now assuming Zeno was wrong and the 25-minute mark is indeed a reachable future, can be seen live as it happens right here on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports. Hello everyone, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast streaming your way on IESN. Joe Peak joins yours truly, Bill Suzon, to bring you our Words Eye View. Sean Ambrose has director duties armed with cameras locked and loaded by Joe. If Socrates was right when he said the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing, when it comes to picking a winner for today's event, with this season already sporting multiple victors, including Robert Hartley, Sonny Canchin, Mike Dam, and last round winner Travis Wallace, I'm feeling like Einstein, Hawkins, and feta cheese rolled up in one because I have no idea who is going to win here today in Canada. But in hopes of telling you something we do know about, let me reintroduce Joe Peak to talk about today's venue.
Thanks, Bill. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is definitely a known quantity in racing circles. It's been around since the late 70s and has hosted a majority of the Formula One Canadian Grand Prix. And while it has had some sports car and club-style races with cars like these MX-5s, it's generally more set up for the incredible speed of top-tier racing. So normally these long straights split up by 13 turns would go by very quickly, but the underpowered Miata will take a while to pick up speed. That means it'll take just under 2 minutes to get around its 2.7 miles, 4.3 kilometers in metric, of course. One of the unique features of this track, though, is that the majority of the corners are chicanes, but no two of them are alike, and often they require pinpoint precision to carry your speed well. As you'd expect, drivers will have to be on their best behavior to avoid slowdown penalties. The other thing is the fact that much of the circuit is used as regular roads most of the year, which makes it kind of half a street circuit. And the close walls certainly make it feel like a whole street circuit. Actually, the best way to really see how scary those walls can be is to hop in the car. So why don't we go on board for the GSRC lap guide?
All right, we're in the GSRC MX-5, so let's do a lap around Montreal. Down into the Senna S, your line will always be a compromise through here. Brake too early and drivers will be trying to send one up the inside. Brake too late and you'll have an awkward line through the hairpin portion of this two-parter. Also, keep your head on a swivel during the first lap because the pileups there are notorious. After that, you'll follow the gentle bend down to turn 3. You can brake pretty late into here, but the real danger is how closely you flirt with the wall on the exit of 4. Don't let the car get too out of control, or you can expect a tank slapper that pancakes your right side. Then, try and straighten out turn 5, which is flat out in the Miata. Hold off to the right and brake hard for 6. While it's important to brake as deep as possible into here, the exit is far more critical because it dumps you onto the riverside stretch. You'll be flat to the floor for a decent amount of time, so all you have to focus on here is just cutting across the slight bend. At least, that's if you didn't get a bad exit and have to worry about fending off an attacker into the next corner. Once you spot the bridge, line up your braking and throw out the anchors. The soft suspension of the MX-5 means it can take a whole lot of curb, but my advice is to get greedy on the first one and avoid the second. That'll keep your tires nice and planted, which means more traction and better grunt off the chicane. Now we're approaching the Casino hairpin, which is the only braking zone in this track that isn't into a chicane. That makes it incredibly appealing for overtakes, but there's some dangers you should worry about because it's easy to overshoot this corner by braking too late. Doing so could mean your opponent could pull an over-under on you, or if they simply stay close enough, the draft coming down the backstretch might bring them back into play anyways. This is the longest straightaway of the course, and it leads into one of the slowest chicanes. This makes it an ideal spot for pass attempts, and you're probably going to see battles erupt in this corner all day long. However, the slowdown penalty if you cut across the runoff is gonna hurt, so try your best not to outbrake yourself. Once again, this is one with very tall curbs that invite you to get greedy, but the Wall of Champions has punished fast and slow drivers alike, and you are not immune to its sting. If you kept it off of there, it's just a matter of drifting the car across the track and crossing the line to finish your lap around Montreal.
There you see a lap around here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. And of course, this broadcast, as all of them this season, are brought to you by Ricmotech. The most complete source for all sim racing hardware. They have it all, from starter kits and do-it-yourself plans to professional level gear and complete motion simulators. They can fabricate adapters, modification kits, and high-end hardware, in addition to carrying a complete line of specialty products from major brands. You can see it all, Bill, at ricmotech.com. We'll have to go and look at that. I could always use more sim racing gear.
Well, before we do that, let's take a look at the points. Now, keep in mind that these points take into account the one of 4 drop races allowed for in the rules. Put it simply, these are a driver's best 4 of 5 results. Now, the roar before the 24 took its toll on last round's attendance. Travis Wallace got the win, but it was not enough to move him into the top 5. Fuel Math let a win slip away from Dries Nice at Road Atlanta. Nevertheless, the Dish Liquor moves up a spot into second. Robert Hartley and Mike Dam both played hooky last round, but dropped Races Insurance keeps them up in the points. The Sheriff, Jordy Fike, is back in town, the only driver in the top 5 to race in every event. He's being forced to throw away 26 points. You can see that by his little droplet. And a name that has impressed is Joey Boulafay, tied with Fike in 4th position. All those 5 drivers, well, they're all here today. All right, Joe, let's talk about the race details.
Absolutely. You mentioned it. We're halfway through with this race, so drivers really got to get serious if they want to make a challenge for those points. 6 out of 12 rounds total. They do have 4 drop weeks that they can rely on, just like they can in the official points. The race length, of course, 25 minutes. So this is a sprint race that they're doing here today. And the setups in the cars are open. Now, that can bring you some speed in the Miatas, but not a whole lot. Mostly it's about comfort in these cars, because you really can't do a lot to give yourself too much out of this car with the setup. The incident cap is at 17 since this is official racing, so drivers can get disqualified if they use the cut course on some of these chicanes a little bit too much. And I mentioned the official points. Those are actually what are used for the point system that you saw previously on that other graphic. Bill, this should be a good one. It's not a track we see the MX-5s on as much.
No, actually, it's pretty well suited, I think, for this little car. It's tight confines. The car doesn't take up much space. Robert Hartley sitting on pole right now, just ahead of Anwar Burrell Smith. You know what does play a factor is the weather. Joe, let's take a look at that and see if that's what effect that's going to have on the racing today.
Well, it's pretty hot out today, honestly. It's 105 degrees on the track. It's only 81 degrees air temperature, so it's not too bad for the virtual fans. But the fact that the clouds have not really been covering as much as the drivers probably would hope is why you're seeing that temperature get so far up there. The good news is, though, that I guess because of all the trees they have around here, they only got 4-mile-per-hour winds, so it doesn't seem to be affecting the cars too much. They can be susceptible to high winds, even though they don't have a lot of aero dependence, these cars. So they'll be slipping and sliding around a little bit, Bill, but I think they should adapt to it pretty quickly, honestly.
Relatively small field here today, as we only have 15. Sadly, and I guess it's sadly, I don't know if this is sadly for everybody, but I was looking forward to seeing some names that we didn't see, but we got up to 30 drivers, so there are 2 splits, 15 here, 15 in the second split, so we're a little bit smaller. And we're looking at our points leader, Robert Hartley.
And qualifying leader right now.
Yep. Bob missed the last round, but again, there are 4 drop races. He's got 2 wins. He opened the season with 2 wins, and then he's been shut out since then, so let's see if he can get one back here. Driver sitting in third is Dries Nice. He's currently in pit lane right now. He had a win last time, gave it away due to fuel miscalculations. There's Hartley.
It looks like everybody's actually got their laps in already. So with the clock getting close, I think we're getting close to the grid.
Go ahead and we can bring it up right now and show you the 15 drivers. So they're going to make up round 6 here in the Advanced Mazda Cup from Montreal. On the pole, it's going to be Robert Hartley. He's flanked by Burrell Smith. The row 2 is going to be populated by the Belgian driver, Dries Nice. Outside of him is going to be Travis Swenke. Mike Dam, the guy who has a win already this season, is going to be in 5th position inside of Moses Caballo. Then in spots 8 and 9, we'll go to, I guess, spots 7 and 8 is Joseph Boulafay and Daniel Flores Juan. Joe, I'm going to let you take the rest of it.
Travis Wallace will be starting 9th with David Piton starting in 10th. Then on the next one, it is Kodamiwa being on the inside of row 6 and 11th. Derek Holland starts 12th. And Andres Bertoni starts 13th. Last row is going to be Atsushi Maeda and George Fike finishing it out. Bill, a lot of points up for grab with there being a split here today. So I think extra impetus to do well.
Absolutely. Big opportunity for these guys to score. 3 previous winners this season in the field. Hartley and Dam, and then, of course, Wallace, who picked up a win last time out. It's going to be a quick one. No pit stops today, so don't go anywhere. This one will be started and stopped before you can say, well, something silly.
Yeah, and getting any sort of pit stop today is really going to hurt because it takes a long time to trundle down that pit lane, Bill. So drivers will want to keep away from those walls and keep from getting too much damage if they have to go in and get that repaired.
One of the things we can quickly talk about before they go green here is they talked about being fast. You have to know the boundaries. You want to push the envelopes, try not to pick up any incidents, but really to go fast, they were saying you really got to see how close you can get out there before you can pick up any incidents. Wait for everybody to take their spot. Still waiting for a pole sitter to get a spot. Robert Hartley going to pump in here pretty soon. The halfway point will be done after this one is over. 6 in the books, 6 after this one. Don't want to miss next week as we go to a new track, the new track in Japan.
And I think Travis Wallace is going to be the last one up, and I think we're about ready to go here.
There we go. The yellow car of Robert Hartley now sitting in his preferred position at the very front. Oh, the engine's beginning to rev up a bit. You can hear those little Miatas start to rev. You know what to do. Gather at the chicken, take cover behind the cows. The horses are out of the Canadian barn, and it is indeed Robert Hartley leading the field into the first left-hander. Smith is behind him. Dries Nice and Travis Swenke make up your top 4. 5th position, that's Mike Dam.
Very, very clean start, especially for this track. Only contact I saw was Daniel Juan and Joey Boulafay. Looks like they got into each other briefly, but some action in front of them happening as looks like Caraballo managed to get a spot.
He did indeed. He moves up 1 position. The front 5 remains static.
I wonder if Mike Dam got a slowdown penalty because he's given up a lot of spots, and I don't think he got that slow out of 4. And yeah, look, he's giving more back. Ooh, this is what we talked about, Bill, with those edges of the track. This is where you really don't want to go too far over them. He's going to be all the way at the end.
He goes all the way to the back of the pack. Good news is he's still racing. Bad news is he's got 24 minutes to make up that ground. So with Dam out of the picture, Caballo does move up into 5th position. The back half of your top 10. Now it's Joey Boulafay, Travis Wallace, last race winner. David Piton, Miwa in 10th position, Andres Bertoni.
This is a very well-behaved first lap. Granted, a somewhat smaller field, but this track, Bill, really known for having a lot of problems with the cars being so packed together and there's no place to go to avoid problems. So I'm proud of these guys for being as cohesive as they have been running in a pack around in this first lap.
If you can look, they're coming right by you right now. That white car, that is Dries Nice, followed by Travis Swenke in the blue car behind him. They were actually bump drafting down the straight. Oh, we have another slow car in front. That's Burrell Smith.
think he also got a slowdown penalty because he's still going. I think we're going to see this all day long, Bill. The drivers that can avoid those slowdown penalties are going to get the best results out here today.
I mentioned it quickly before we went green, how they want to push the envelopes. They think they can go fast, but if you get too far out, you're going to pick up incidence points. And worst case scenario, those slowdown penalties that Joe just talked about. All this going on behind Robert Hartley.
Yeah, this is a track where there's certain points you do want to push the envelope. In other words, I think that it'd be better to give it a little bit of leeway just so that you don't run afoul of those slowdown penalties, because you gain a lot less than you lose if you do get one.
Risk versus reward scenario. Somebody right now who's really got the reward paying off. That's Bob Hartley. He almost got a whole second lead over Dries Nice.
Yeah, and Dries doesn't have to worry too much about what's behind right now, because it looks like Schwenke's starting to drop off. It's Carballo who's already challenging. He didn't just get a spot on the first lap here. He's up to 4th now, looking at a potential podium.
Yeah, now with he picks up that vultures that spot again when we had the slowdown penalty from the driver who was in second.
Brewall Smith, I believe it was.
Yes,
yeah,
that's right. But now what you have in second position, you got Dries Nice and Travis Schwenke. They were just kind of working together to see if they could catch the leader. That's not the case for Carballo right now. He's coming, and he's coming quick, and he wants to get both of those positions. I think Schwenke and Nice are going to have to pick it up a bit.
This is one of those good spots where you can make that pass down here into the Wall of Champions. The thing is, though, sometimes it's almost better, instead of trying to outbrake someone into there, is set yourself up for an exit, because you got a decently long straight here, Bill, down to the first chicane, which also has heavy braking, and you can just breeze on by if you line it up right. Looks like nobody's done it this time, though.
They'll be going single file through there now as they work through the technical section of the track, but you see Carballo is coming. Now, if we drop back one position from there, there's a nice battle going on between Joey Boulafay and Travis Wallace. This is a battle for 5th now.
These two also starting to lose touch with those top 4 bit by bit. And unfortunately, the straights can offer you a chance to use the draft, but it's not really enough like on some tracks with the MX-5, Bill, where you can slingshot each other and try to catch up to the leaders that way. It looks like, though, Wallace gets a nice run. I think he's going to have a chance into 8.
I think so. He's going to duck down into the preferred position. He had pace to run with Travis, with Dries Nice last round at Road Atlanta. He gets that position. Oh, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah, when you go offline, you really, really have to back up your braking a little bit, because coming in shallow to those chicanes puts you at risk for exactly what you saw there. Big old cut course. Now, instead of gaining a spot, he's down to 7th.
I'm going to drop a little farther back, talk about this battle here with Andres Bertoni being challenged by, a driver we've seen race a lot, Derek Holland.
And
nice string of cars here, Joe.
Yeah, and well, that's kind of bad news, honestly, if you're the cars towards the front. Now, Brewall Smith is the one leading the train, and I think he's actually pulling away. So it's more Andre Bertoni that you see that's got to watch out. If he starts to get in a little bit of a fight with Holland, well, those two right behind him are just going to pounce. The exits are so critical with these chicanes. Oh, and Miwa, unfortunately, cuts the course, so he's going to get a slowdown as well now.
Mike Dam, who picked up that slowdown, still racing back in 15th position. He was gridded in 5th.
Yeah, it's taken him a bit to try and regain that time. And, Juan just let him by. Juan might as well have gotten a slowdown.
I think so.
Also seeming to have some connection problems on top of things just to add to his woes. Regardless, Mike just got his first spot.
Now back up here, this battle for second. This is Dries Nice being followed by his partner Travis Schwenke.
Oh, and they dropped Carballo at some point.
They sure
did. He was right on the back of him. He's now 4 seconds back, Bill.
Yeah, and Boulafay going to make the move right now.
Oh, he was thinking about it. Oof.
Look at that, though. Yeah, I don't know.
Carvalho looked like he locked him up coming through there. And wow, great. I mean, smart driving by Joey. He just backed the car up instead of making a marginal move, and now it's given him what should be a lot easier pass if he can gut it enough out the corner. Oh, we've seen that before here.
A little bit of a hello, and then Carvalho got a little love tap from Patton behind him there.
That's the.
I think that's going to.
That's the old Canadian accordion there, Bill, that happens in that hairpin.
I don't know if there is such a thing. But that really, David Patton now is in jeopardy here as Travis Wallace has a good run as they head down into the chicane. Oh, and up in front, there's a pass. Look, they go too wide, moving to the outside. It's Carvalho. He wants that back. They go too wide through this final chicane. Carvalho gets it, keeps it off the wall of champion. Slow down penalty for Patton. He's going to lose spots. He loses it to Wallace and to Burrell Smith.
Yeah, and both of those guys are lucky that behind them had problems, because you can get slowed down so much. As another try from Joey down the outside of the first apex, which switches to the inside. The more that they fight, the more they're going to bring these guys behind them up towards them, and they're dropping off the leaders. You don't want to go side by side through those chicanes. You got to set it up to come to get them off the corner, Bill.
In the striped car, working on the back of Carvalho, could not get the pass made, and that's going to give Burrell Smith a chance to get back in the mist. Travis Wallace back in 7th.
Now they think they finally settled down for a bit. You know, there's one problem with the Canadian accordion, right, Bill? It only plays one note, A.
Oh, jeez. I want to see if RaceSpot has any job openings.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Yeah, jeez.
Oh, man, Carvalho's having a tough time with turns 8 and 9. That's the second time he went in way too hot. He's really got to focus on not overdriving the car. You can see the same story again. Joey's getting a run.
Look at this. This is going to be fun. On the outside is Boulafay. Oh, he's going to miss that apex. He's going to open up the door, and they're going to take advantage of it. Oh, no, go and lose it, Smith. He's going to lose it. Wallace says thank you very much, and he gets 2 spots for Travis.
It's so easy to be greedy with these cars. It's not that they have that much power. It's just they're a little bit tail happy, and that's why you saw him nearly spin out like that as he gets passed by the likes of Patton. He's going to take another look at him, though. Gets a little bit of the draft, but just not enough of it. So, yeah, when you come off the corners, you just kind of ease onto the throttle.
Stay right here on this action as they are too wide through there. Making the move, getting the pass done. That is Burrell Smith. Patton is going to be slow coming out of the wall of champion. Now up front, we're going to get you up there in a second because I want to tell you the story that's going up there. I thought Hartley was racing away from it, but that's not the case. Look at this. It's Hartley, Schwenke, and Nice. They're all within shouting distance.
I was noticing that too. I looked up at the gap, and Schwenke has really done a good job pushing and try to make Hartley work for this one. Again, the draft does have an effect here, and so he was helped somewhat. He kept within range of it and made good use of it. Watch out for Nice, though. If he can get closer to the back of these guys, Dries can make some aggressive moves at times, and I wouldn't put it past him to try and steal the win away from these two.
Now, while the racing might be more important up in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, it honestly is more exciting farther back. Let's drop back to 4th again, because here comes the train. It's going to be led by Carvalho, Wallace behind him, Boulafay, Smith, Patton, Bertoni now in the mix, and even Derek Holland is in the caboose.
Wow, from 4th all the way back to 10th. Wallace has got to look to the inside down here into the hairpin. And this is the tricky part that we've seen, trying to power it off this corner and keep the spot. You can see the outside, you can carry that momentum, Bill, and you switch it back, even though it's sort of counterintuitive, but Carvalho's making life very, very difficult for Wallace.
Oh, and a little bit of rhinoplasty there from Carvalho as he comes right across the nose of Wallace. I can report that Smith was able to make the pass on Boulafay as they go down into the chicane, but look up front. Boy, this is good racing from Carvalho. Wallace trying to find his way around. They get out of the chicane okay. Everybody behind him makes it okay.
Yeah, and see, that was much smarter. That's exactly what I was talking about. Wallace knew that it really wasn't worth it to try and stick it through there too wide. So he set himself up for right here, and just not enough braking for the first corner.
No need to go up front. They continue to race in the same order. Hartley, Schwenke, and Nice. You can see them at the top of your screen there.
And I'll tell you what, don't forget about Mike Dam. He was one of the front runners. He's only 5.5 seconds back from the tail of this train. It could be 7 cars soon that are involved.
Yeah, Dam is coming. He was able to get around Kota Miwa, and then Jordi Fight back in 13th position.
Still not as good of a recovery so far as I thought he would have. Ooh, Wallace with a horrible exit coming out of 7. That's going to make him a sitting duck, and Wall Smith is going to make mincemeat of him.
Honestly, more passes we've seen are from the driver in front making a mistake than the driver behind making a great move. And there we go, Smith gets that spot, move him up into 5th.
Credit to Moises. I mean, nobody's really been able to make the pass stick so far, and that's no mean feat. We've seen how many drivers have been swapping around behind him. They get awful close to each other through that hairpin again.
Going through that last chicane, Dries Nice picked himself up a slowdown penalty. He has now lost total connection with the front 2 guys. He's all by himself in 3rd.
A bit surprised that Dries hasn't had the pace to stay with them. I'm not sure if maybe he got a slowdown. Actually, it does look like probably a slowdown with him, dropping about 5.7 seconds.
Let's go back to 12th position. This is Jordi Fike trying to hold off Kota Miwa. Fike up 2 spots. Miwa has lost a position, but he's coming. Miwa in that striped car.
Both of them nice and smooth through that last chicane. Wall of Champions can be hit. These are less powerful cars. They're not F1 cars, but it's so easy to try and take too much curb because they can take a lot of curb in these cars. I'm sure the audience has seen, Bill, that you can really bound them over there if you want. Now, it doesn't give you too much more speed. You got to be careful with it. As we go up to 5th. Oh, side-by-side action. Carvalho finally got past.
And they've been side-by-side for a while. Wallace, they were side-by-side through the chicane. Wallace gets a good drive off. Now he's on the outside. He'll have to tuck back in through this little twisty section.
Brave stuff from Carvalho to let the car slide out in front of Wallace like that, but they made it work. You got to really know your opponent to be able to push wide like that.
That allowed Smith to pull away from these guys. Look how close they're racing up front now. He's just peeking. This is Schwenke. The dark machine. Looking at Hartley in that yellow and black car.
This isn't a track where you can try to be cute and wait for a last lap pass. You could, but it's very difficult, as we've seen, Bill, to really make the passes stick. So if I was Schwenke with 9 minutes to go, the next couple of laps, I'd start to get serious about making this work. And I think he is right now.
I think he's getting serious right now. And I don't know. Hartley just kind of says, all right, I'll sit back here a little bit.
Interesting.
Gets a good run, though, I think. If he wants it. No.
But, see, I figured maybe he was just going to let him through and do an over-under and just retake it on the front stretch. But yeah, that was a big lift there. Oh, we've had a problem with Wallace in the Wall of Champions.
Oh, he got together with Joey Boulafay coming out of the Wall of Champion. Wallace got the worst of it.
Yeah, he was side by side with Carvalho. We're going to see in the replay. It was a game of chicken under braking. Wallace tried to back out of it. It slowed him down so much that you're going to see that just Joey did not expect him to be that slow, and they just kind of clattered together.
So coming off a win last time out at Road Atlanta, we'll look at it from Boulafay. Now this is the opportunity's there, and Boulafay says, okay, I'll take it, and then it just closed up.
Yeah, it's always a temptation because they're momentum cars. You got to keep your foot in it. You got to take those risks. And in this case, it didn't quite pay off, but Joey's still going at least. He's just down in 9th now.
Interval I want to talk about is between 9th and 10th. Joey Boulafay that we just saw, he's got 2 seconds on Mike Dam. Dam having a hard time getting it going. I wouldn't have thought Mike would be there. He's been notoriously fast all season long, but having a hard time here in Canada. Up front, it's still Schwenke and Hartley.
And fifth, Carballo, who's lost touch with Burwell-Smith, has returned to fighting with the train behind him. And instead, it's Bertoni now trying to take it away. And Baton is next up on deck in case something happens to Andre.
Look at that racing that's going on. And this is something that you can be part of if you want to join the iRacing community. Come on in and race online against drivers all around the world in what is the best simulated racing program available. And the best of the best in the iRacing World Championship, as well as many private leagues like the one you're watching right now, are showcased right here on iRacing Esports Network. GSRC is proud to be part of the IESN stable of broadcasters.
To stay in line this time through. This has been some really good fighting for this track, especially considering how hard it is to pass, Bill. I'm impressed with these guys being as respectful as they have been.
Indeed. Travis Wallace, I believe, the only driver that's missing out of the 15 cars that qualified.
He's just coming back right now, actually. Got his car a little bit fixed, and unfortunately, he's going to be a lap down, so probably just... Ooh, the car still looks pretty wobbly. He's trying to get safety rating, but he might not.
Let's just check in on these two guys that are just kind of dancing right now, just kind of going in step. This is Schwenke and Hartley. I think Robert knows exactly where he wants to make the move and when he wants to do it.
He's still poking his nose around and kind of doing a little bit of research. We saw him take a look there into the hairpin. Didn't make a serious move, but he was just kind of seeing what the car could do.
Let's stay on this. This will give you a good indication of where the finish line is as Hartley gets right up behind. You can go through here, and we've seen him come out of this final chicane side by side. You can have a drag race to the start finish line. Schwenke goes in first.
Yeah, we got that in similar cars recently with the Spec Racer Fords, where it was thousandths of a second between the two leaders at the line. Kind of curious. I have a feeling we're going to get something similar with these two, unless they fight too hard and one of them makes a major error.
Carballo being chased by Andres Bertani now, up 7 spots. Good run from him. Kept his nose clean.
He's one of the best climbers from the grid, like you said, from 13th. And he's holding on to it right now. So I think this is on merit.
Look at the caboose of this train as they come through that car, the very screen left right there. That's Mike Dam. He's got there. And there is a buffet of iRacing points to be picked up in front of him.
But he's not rich on time here, Bill. He's only got 4.5 minutes. So he's going to have to start making some aggressive moves if he wants to take a few of these positions.
Riding on forward. Mike right now, he has a win under his belt. These guys race about 17 seconds behind the leaders.
But you're still within about 0.2 of each other. Those guys... we need to keep half an eye on them because it could erupt at any moment.
Yeah, I've seen Schwenke be challenged by Hartley a few times, but Hartley just backs off.
And that car that we saw going slow, that was Derek Holland. I think he had a slowdown penalty that he had to deal with. So that's one for Mike Dam. Just 4 more to go.
Holland moves back to the back of the train. Dam up to 9th. There's your 2 leaders.
So 2. Oh, is that a slowdown for Bob?
Oh my goodness, I think Robert Hartley has a slowdown penalty. That could be good night nurse right there as Travis Schwenke has opened up a 3-second lead over Hartley.
That shows you how damaging they are. He was within basically 2/10 of him all lap around. So that's about 2.8, actually more than that, 3.8 seconds, because it's now up to 4 seconds that he's back. In fact, Dries Nice has caught him. It was so costly.
Yeah, well, not only he had a horrible place to have to service down that main straight, so he caught it on the right-hand part of that chicane.
The first apex
going in.
Oh, and Mike Dam's going to try and get another one. He's side by side with the number 15, and I think he's got it.
And I can report, we noticed that Travis Wallace's car was crabbing. We'll get the butter out for him because he's done. He put it in the wall again.
He's actually miraculously still going. Oh, Moises Carvalho. It finally came to a head, and, you know, this started with Moises. He was the one that spun the car on his own. There was nobody touching him. Bertoni got into him. Looked like David Baton had to take evasive action.
He does. He had to take a slowdown penalty, and that puts Mike Dam right behind him in 6th. Boulafay and Holland now coming up.
Despite the low speeds, these cars can snap so easily that it's hard to avoid those situations. And I got a feel for the likes of Bertoni because he was looking at a really good finish there, and now he's back tonight.
Front 4 all separated by about 2 seconds. Really no battle there, so they're going to get the white flag this time by. I think the exciting part of this race is going to be Baton trying to hold off Mike Dam for that 5th position. There you can see, look at him stretched out. Travis Swenke.
And I know you always have your quotes from your dad. Well, one of my dad's favorite quotes was, I'd rather be lucky than good. And I think Mike Dam is saying that right now because that was a number of positions just handed to him.
Last chance he'll have there on Baton, and then after that, there's going to be too far for everybody to pick those up. Our leader working the back half of the track, no reason to go there. We'll come back and call the win, assuming Travis can get there.
And Dam's going to be kicking himself because he also is probably aware of the points that he's thrown away here. A top 5 is a nice recovery, but that's really sort of a lukewarm damage limitation.
Well, from the trouble that the drivers that were around him, would have been a good point stay for him. Nevertheless, he races in 6th. We go back up front to Travis Swenke. His nickname is Dory because he's notorious for what we like to call just keep swimming, if you've seen the movie Finding Nemo. Well, right now, he's going to try to swim his way to a victory.
Yeah, Travis has grown so much since we first started watching him on MWT. This is a well-earned victory for him because he had to earn it. He chased the leader down, he pressured him into a mistake, and he's going to take away the victory.
Just as the final chicane to negotiate. Looking to become our 5th different winner so far this season in 6 races. He goes the right, he does the left, he avoids the wall of champions, nothing between him and the checkered flag. Travis Swenke picks up round number 6 here at Montreal. Robert Hartley gets 2nd. Dries Nice is going to get 3rd. A very quiet run from Anwar Smith. He gets 4th, and now the battle for 5th. Oh, and that's Boulafay is off.
Dam made a great outbreaking maneuver on Baton into the final chicane, and he gets it in the final corner.
This is the fun one. I got there late and I saw Joey Boulafay taking an interesting racing line as he took it in really hot. Watch the front 2 cars, and then right behind you'll see Boulafay make a move. Well, you won't see it. It'll be off to you right there. You go.
I think Joey was so caught up in watching the tension ahead of him that he missed his braking point.
Maybe he was going to pit lane. There you see
not quite.
Going off.
Yeah.
So Mike Dam picks up 5th position, and all the cars come across as we have got all 15 wrapping up their race. All right, the racing is over here in the St. Lawrence River, but our broadcast is far from done. We're going to take a quick moment, but we'll return to run down the finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Stay close. You're watching GSRC on IESN. Streaming cyberspace into your place via the iRacing Esports Network. This is the Global Sim Racing channel's coverage of the Advanced Mazda Cup Strength of Field event Round 6 from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Let's give you the finishing order right now. It was Travis Swenke as he becomes the 5th winner this season, getting the win as he outduels Robert Hartley. Dries Nyss had to take that slowdown penalty and settle for 3rd. Anwar Smith, a very quiet 4th place run. Mike Dam qualified 5th, fell all the way back to 15th, worked his way back up to where he started. David Paton and Derek Holland go 6th and 7th, hauling up 5 spots to get that spot. Joey Buffet in 8th. The last 2 cars in the top 10, Andres Bertoni and the Sheriff, Jordy Fike. Joe?
Moises Carvalho, after what was a very good defense most of the race, made a critical error and winds up having to settle for 11th. Kodamiwa finishes in 12th position with Daniel Wan finishing 13th. Atsushi Maeda, the last car on the lead lap, 14th. Poor Travis Wallace had a hard meeting with the Wall of Champions, and he will be a lap down in 15th. Bill?
And now we'll go to our interviews as I'm able to talk to our race winner, Travis Swenke. Here comes Travis right now. Travis, I don't know if you were the fastest. You were pretty darn quick, but you were certainly the cleanest as you everyone else made mistakes around you.
Yeah, I think Anwar accidentally called it before the race, and he said this might be a race of slowdowns, and that's kind of what it turned into. Mike just said he got 2 slowdowns in the first lap. Rob got that one with maybe 4 laps to go. Dries had one. And they're hard to clear here, which is the bad thing. They're large and they don't want to clear.
Well, let's go back before the slowdown penalty. Did you get that spot from Hartley, or do you think he wanted to be in 2nd?
Once I got alongside him, he definitely didn't want to go side by side through the chicane there, which I totally understand. So then he was just fighting it back. I think, personally, this to me is a very hard track to lead on. It's a little easier to follow and get through there at the speed, and when you try to push it that little bit, that's when you kiss the wall. It's just to me it's hard to lead.
Well, it's got to feel good to pick up a win here on a GSRC broadcast. We haven't seen you do that for a while. You feel good about this one?
Oh yeah. I told Rob it's the easiest win over Rob I think I've ever had. So it's nice to get an easy one from him, which usually we're fighting to the end on him. So unfortunately, I think I would have rather been fighting to the end, but I'll take it for sure.
Well, it's a good points day. You're in the points race, so congratulations. We'll move you up the chart a little bit. See you down the road.
Thank you, Soup.
There you have it. It is Travis Swenke. And that's going to do it for us, as we have no other interviews here today. So let's make this a quick one, and we'll go right to the people we want to thank. And how about we start with everybody at the Advanced Mazda Cup community, especially Jordy Fike for supporting this broadcast, and of course the good guys at Ricmotech. On screen now are just some of the equipment and software used to stream cyberspace into your place. The original music that lets your ears alert your eyes you're watching a GSRC production. Well, that's courtesy of Eric Echolm and June Lalonde. See the screen right there to have to contact each of them. The Advanced Mazda Cup returns next week for Round 7, a 25-minute no-pit sprint like we had tonight from the new track. Now, Joe, am I getting this right? Is it Tsukuba?
Correct.
Circuit?
You got it.
All right, don't pronounce the T. This being the commentator's first visit to the track, it is a splendid time. It's guaranteed for all. GSRC via IESN will be there to bring you all the action. We hope that you join us. The next IESN broadcast is in just a few hours at 10:45 Eastern. It's the opening round of the 2019 Majors. It's the international region covered by our friends at SimSpeed. And don't miss GSRC's coverage of the Grand Prix legends from Bathurst, Joe Peak and Johan van de Bel, calling that action, going live Saturday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Sliding across the screen now are just some of the upcoming broadcasts GSRC will be covering. Check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you want more information about us, visit globalsimracingchannel.com or check us out on social media. Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Gram. Also, if you haven't done so yet, become a YouTube subscriber by heading over to our YouTube page and hitting that big red button. Tell them Soup sent you. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Joe, Sean, and Doug, I'd like to thank all of you for watching as Travis Swenke gets the win here at Montreal. With that said, we're off to have fun, storm of the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.